I'm cool with that.
All right. So we're here. This is the first episode of our podcast,
Oh
the
boy.
Cinemadrome podcast. That's what we're going with right now.
My camera good? I should have asked you that before.
Yeah, your camera looks good.
All right, cool.
So the first movie we are going to discuss is David Cronenberg's Videodrome.
Hell yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah. So I think I know that you came to this movie a lot earlier than me. So I don't know, what's your relationship with it? Like, when did you first see it, and under what circumstances?
I first saw it probably in middle school because it's when I have the same edition as you.
Oh yeah,
That edition's awesome, by the way. I love the
yeah.
packaging for it.
I just got
But
it.
what? Sorry,
Just got it like yesterday.
it's tight. Yeah. Um, but did you watch the bonus features, by the way?
I watched some of them. I didn't get a chance to watch all of them.
Okay. Anyways, I first saw it like 7th or 8th grade because I bought the Blu-ray, and I was just getting into Cronenberg. And I'm a pretentious kind of person, so like I remember as a kid, just for an example, like we were told in like our English class we couldn't read comic books, which I mean it makes sense now, but as a kid, it's like what the fuck. So as a kid, I went out and bought Watchmen because I was like, oh, this is mature, and you wouldn't get it. So comic books can be deep. And like this was like that, but for horror films, because people were like, "Oh, horror films can't be deep," and it's like, "Oh, well, you clearly don't know David Cronenberg."
Yeah.
I'm less of an asshole now, but that was my attitude. Um, and that's pretty much the reason I watched it the first time. It's because I just heard it was like the cerebral horror film, and at the first time I didn't get it at all, but
Yeah.
it was, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But it's
Oh yeah.
even if you don't get it, it's incredibly. It just works as an entertaining movie. It's fun.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Because I'm sure if I watched this in middle school for the first time, I wouldn't have got it either.
Yeah,
Like, I would have thought I got it, and then I would have been like,
same.
seen it years later and been like, oh. But I also think, like, yeah, like you said, like, if you just watch this movie, I mean, anybody can watch this movie and have a great time. It's super
Yeah.
fun, just as
Well,
it is.
assuming you're not overly sensitive to
Oh
like
yeah, true,
gore
true.
and stuff.
That's true. It is a disturbing film in a lot of ways, but like anybody could watch this, and as long as they're not sensitive or anything, could have a really good time and not even think.
If you're hip.
Yeah, yeah. If you're hit, anybody could watch this and have a good time. It's just a fucking badass movie. Like,
It is.
you know what I mean?
Some of the best effects you'll ever see.
Fuck yeah, yeah. I totally agree. You know what? That's definitely. I want to dedicate a whole section of this podcast to the effects, but
Absolutely. Yeah, Rick Baker is the master.
yeah, we can, because I did watch like at least half of that documentary.
Yeah, the documentary's tight. I was gonna rewatch it for this, but I didn't get a chance to watch it again. But I watched it like a few months ago though.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So maybe we could talk a little bit more about the movie and what it's about for some of the people who've never seen it or have never even heard of it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people.
I'm terrible at plot summaries. I'll attempt to explain it though.
Back if you want.
Yeah, let's do that. Actually,
Okay,
that's better.
Okay. So
I'll improve my skills over time.
per Criterion, okay. When Max Friend goes looking for edgy new shows for his sleazy cable TV station, he stumbles across the pirate broadcast of a hyper-violent torture show called Videodrome. His attempts to unearth the program's origins send him on a hallucinatory journey into a shadow world of right-wing conspiracies, sadomasochistic sex games, and bodily transformation. It's pretty. I'd say it's a pretty.
That sums it up.
Good
That sums it up.
summary,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun ride.
It is.
And yeah, it has a lot of great performances in it. Like
it does. James Woods.
Yeah,
the obvious one.
Yeah, James Woods is pretty great in this fucking.
And I think maybe his best movie.
I think so too. Like
I mean, at least in a leading role, because I know he's in like Casino. I like this more than Casino. Not that they're anything alike, but
yeah. He's pretty great in Casino. He's good in
he's in Once Upon a Time in America, right?
Yeah, but I would say from what I've seen, this is my favorite James Woods performance.
Oh, he's in The Simpsons at one point.
Is he? Really?
Yeah, he's great in that. So other than that, it's his best role.
But he's pretty great at playing like the
asshole.
Yeah, like the asshole. Like, I don't know. There's just a certain element of like he really nails the whole transformation of the Max Friend character from being like this kind of what's the word for it, like cynical, like doesn't really believe in the bullshit kind of guy, to being this like scared,
Yeah.
kind of helpless individual. He really nails that transition throughout the movie. That's kind of something I noticed upon rewatch is how well he nails that down. Like you could just
Mhm.
totally see all the beats happening, and I'm sure that's a lot to do with Cronenberg's directing as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the writing in this film's actually really underrated
Oh
because
yeah,
it's a really smart fucking movie.
oh yeah, totally, totally. It's like,
And also, can we? You go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I interrupted you.
No, I was just gonna say the writing is really smart, like you said.
Oh, okay. Um, this conversation's all over the place. So for people, this is the first episode. So if you're starting with this one, then hopefully we get better.
Yeah, we'll get
I
better.
don't know, but anyways, the flow of the film because it's so damn short, but there's like so many ideas, and I don't know. I think it's kind of incredible how much they're able to pack in this because it's not like it's not even 90 minutes, is it?
Yeah, it's like 88 minutes or something like that, and it's so like dense, full of. It takes so many twists and turns. You're right. You're totally right.
Yeah, and like by the time you're at like the 20-minute mark, like the movie's like fully going.
Oh yeah,
It
totally.
doesn't waste any time. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. It's like breakneck pace.
Yeah.
Not that everything needs that pace, but I mean it works really well here is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, because it totally works really well for this movie. I think because it's almost like you're going on this trip of like overstimulation. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
That's what
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that this movie you said the word trip, and I like that word because this film is incredibly psychedelic.
Totally.
It's I'm just gazing at my notes, but I mean, yeah, it's like a total. It like tears down all the walls of perception and sensory aspects, which is the kind of art that interests me most. Is the kind of stuff that just makes you feel the most, and is just more, for lack of a better word, cerebral. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that in like some hoity-toity way. I just mean I don't know. But I think it does really well at being both that, so functioning like as something like an art house film, because I do consider this an art house film. I don't care what
Yeah.
anyone says. Or it has elements of that, but I mean, it's also just a fun pulpy horror film, like we were just talking about.
Yeah. It kind of
You
like
could watch it on all levels.
yeah, it kind of walks the fine line between those two types of films, and it really blends it very well.
Yeah, and it bridges the gap for Cronenberg, I think.
Oh yeah, true.
Because
Before this was what, like Scanners.
Scanner, Shivers, Rabid,
Yeah, kind of more. I mean, like
Fast Company, the classic.
especially like Shivers and Rabid. Those are both like strictly
Tight movies.
yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're good movies, but it's like they're strictly like B grade sci-fi body horror movies, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't really
This is
try to be anything more than that.
yeah. I think you can make an argument for Scanners, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I kind of left Scanners out because Scanners is kind
Oh,
of
okay. Yeah.
right before that.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention then.
no, cool. It's cool. Like I'd say like Scanners and this are kind of like the turning point in a way, huh?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know more about Cronenberg than me though, so like I'm just going off of what I kind of can, because I've seen I've seen a handful of his movies. You know,
I think I've seen everything but In Butterfly.
Oh, for real? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say I haven't seen Existence actually, which is like the remake of Videodrome.
Is it really?
Sort of. I think it's like Videodrome, but it's like VR. It came out in
Oh,
'99.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that at some point too. I'm sure it's damn good.
We'll have to do.
I just haven't got around to it though, but for whatever reason. Sorry, what'd you say?
So we'll have to do a whole Cronenberg episode eventually.
Absolutely.
But I want to like have him watch all of his films by then. So
he's one of the best directors. He's like, honestly, like gun to my head, he's like a top 5 favorite director for me.
mm-hmm.
I love
yeah,
Cronenberg.
I know he like I can't, you know, like right now I couldn't say that for me just because I haven't seen like probably 60% of his films. So I can't I feel a little like cheap saying that, I guess, but
yeah,
I feel that like one day he will be for me because
yeah,
everything I've seen by him I've loved. Even Shivers, like Shivers, even The Brood.
Shivers is great.
Yeah, Shivers, like they're just
The Brood.
The Brood, yeah, we totally forgot about
what
that.
The fuck? The Brood. Okay, that's even more so than Scanners.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, The Brood is a very intelligent movie. Forgive me for forgetting that.
No, you're totally right.
Because The Brood I think The Brood has more in common with Videodrome than Scanners.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, I completely forgot about The Brood. Thanks for bringing that up. I don't know what the hell's wrong.
I totally forgot about that too.
Okay, that's a great movie. I feel like an asshole.
Wait, I was gonna say, one point you brought up that was really like the whole angle of this film kind of being a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in the documentary, somebody was saying, and it was one of the actors, it might have been James Woods, I don't know. But he or she was basically saying like, this film, like you don't have to know what's going on to enjoy this.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah,
isn't
totally.
Cronenberg's point. You're not watching this and you're not like having to pick up every little detail of everything and like, is he hallucinating right now? Is he not? Because there's
Yeah.
a certain point where you don't know. Like there comes a certain
Yeah,
point
and that's the fun of it.
yeah, it's like that's the fun. You can just have fun with this movie and not fully completely understand what's going on. It's just a fun fucking trip.
Yeah. And I was gonna also mention this goes back to like the intelligence of the script. Not to use my like eighth grade psychology terms, but this film's incredibly Freudian. Um, and I think that goes back to the way you were describing it, even because on an unconscious level, whether you know it or not, this film will affect you, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless you're just like completely desensitized, which I mean, you might be, I don't know. If you watch shit like Guinea Pig and Angel Blood and like exclusively like extreme Japanese snuff horror films, then maybe this won't do anything for you. But for most normal people, this film will make you uncomfortable, I think.
Oh yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
say something's wrong with you if you don't get at least somewhat uncomfortable by
yeah,
the torture scenes, especially like the first few, like
yeah,
just hits you. Like I kind of remember watching this the first time and being like really struck by those scenes because I was just like, holy fuck, like
yeah.
this is
Well, even
not
just the character's reaction, which on rewatch I think it's funny, but that part where he's showing like samurai dreams, the softcore porno, and they zoom down to like that phallic object, and then the next shot is just a bunch of executives. I think that's hilarious. But
and they're just like totally like
yeah,
unsettled by this porn. They're just
and
like,
then yeah, but then like James Woods like, I don't know, I don't. This isn't hard enough.
yeah. Oh, he says tough. Like that's
Tough.
like a particular word. He's like, isn't
Yeah,
tough enough, or you need something more tough.
yeah,
I like that choice of word for some reason. I don't know. It kind of feels very
but
cheesy in a way.
yeah, it's yeah. I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah, there is a lot of like sexual imagery in this film and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like, I even remember watching the documentary. They were even saying that an original ending was going to have to do with um, Max Wren and what is the female lead's character?
Debbie or not Debbie? What the fuck? No, Nikki.
Nikki. Yeah. Max Wren and Nikki like having like penis fingers or some shit or like some
I
type
don't
of
remember
like
that. That's awesome.
sexual organs on their hands and they're having like sex or something. And then like Rick Baker and his team like made all the props and stuff, and then last second Cronenberg was like, we're gonna scrap this or something
Uh-huh.
else.
That's another thing I love about Cronenberg is he's obsessed with sex.
Yeah, it's true, huh? A
All
lot
of his
of
movies,
movies
it comes
too.
up in like every scene.
Yeah.
The man has some weird hangups, but it's very. I admire his openness.
Yeah, it's like he almost is like he's attacking the taboo, but it's almost like the taboo that is too taboo for some people in a way.
Yeah,
Like it's almost like the taboo of the taboo. Like,
yeah,
making movies about people having sex at car accidents or whatever. And
yeah. Which we're gonna talk about that at some point too.
I'm sure, yeah. So yeah, Cronenberg is definitely not afraid to just be brazen with his fucking ideas and
Yeah,
what he wants. And that I think is almost like this is definitely my favorite Cronenberg film from what I've seen.
yeah.
No,
It's in my top 3 or 5,
yeah,
which is crazy because I love this movie. So the fact that there's at least like 2 or 3 more movies that I like more than this is insane.
yeah, that just speaks to who he is and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I I feel from what I've seen that this is the best like blend of Cronenberg where it's like he just it's just an insanely creative movie. Like you
Absolutely.
can just tell that everybody who made this movie like fully believed in it, fully had fun with it, fully had the like it just seems like Cronenberg didn't give a fuck. Like he was just like, I'm just gonna make what movie I want to make.
Also, it was released by fucking Universal, which is insane.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that too until I rewatched it.
I didn't notice it until the commentary track, and then he was just talking about it. I was like, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Because he was
that's
talking.
random.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. That's I just
Oh,
random.
Yeah, he was talking about how happy he was. Like, does Universal even have its own music? I don't remember. I don't really pay attention to logos.
I think so. I think
Okay.
that's something like
He
that.
was talking about how excited he was because they played Howard Shore's music, who's an incredible composer, and the score for this is incredible. But he was talking about how happy he was they played his score instead of the Universal music. And I was like, oh
Oh,
yeah, this is
wow.
put up by Universal.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it has the Universal logo, but it doesn't have the normal sound like
yeah.
dun dun
I
dun.
can't remember what the song is,
Yeah,
honestly.
I can't either, but but it doesn't have the normal Universal music over it.
Yeah,
I almost just did the 20th Century Fox music.
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that in DreamWorks.
Yeah, I can never
Mhm.
quite remember until I hear them, but yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, that is super random. And I was also well, in watching the documentary, it seems like the production for this was really like sped up, and
yeah,
we're even saying like Cronenberg didn't even have a complete script
yeah. I
when they were
remember
filming.
that.
Yeah, and they were just like a lot of it was just on the fly and like changing, and maybe that kind of, I mean, that kind of makes sense since one of the original endings was having to do with penis fingers and
Yeah.
sex
Which
organs.
I want to. I kind of wish they. Oh, I mean, the ending for this is perfect, but
Yeah,
I'm curious what that ending would look like.
I would at least like to have filmed it just so that I could
I
see it
would. I
deleted.
would at least like to see the props at the very least,
I think
because if they made it,
they did make like they
they
kind
show
of
it.
showed some of it, but they weren't like painted or anything. I don't think. I think it was just
Okay.
kind of the molds and stuff from it. But
Okay. I don't
I could
remember.
be imagining that part too, though.
I meant to. Yeah. Also very Freudian.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah,
projecting images of sexuality.
it might be. Yeah, it could very
Well, no, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying it's interesting.
and even Max Ren even
I need to
mentioned
watch it again.
in
What? Yeah, I know. That's what I was gonna say.
he even
Where he's
mentioned
talking about the red dress.
yeah, the red dress and
Yeah.
why she wore it and what that means and stuff.
Yeah. So that's what Cronenberg's obsessed with Freud, and
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's Shivers or Rabid, but there's some guy reading some book by Freud. I don't remember what it is, but I just remember because recently I was just going through his films chronologically. By recently, I mean like 2 years ago, and I was like, oh shit, it started here
Huh.
because
I
there was
don't
just some guy
remember.
reading a book by Freud, and I was like, it might have been like a biography on Freud. I don't remember. It's either in Shivers or Rabid.
It sounds familiar though. Like it does. It sounds familiar. Like I've seen a Cronenberg film where that happened. So maybe it happened more than
Yeah,
I don't know.
there he made a movie about Freud.
Did he really? What
Yeah,
movie?
Dangerous Method.
Oh, cool. See, dude, you know what? I don't know enough about Cronenberg, so that's why I kind
That
of
might have been the first Cronenberg film I saw
for real. I
because my mom is a therapist and she was interested in that movie and she didn't like it. She hates Freud, as any
that
self-respecting woman does. Um,
yeah, sexy.
but I think that was the first one I saw. That was before I knew who Cronenberg was. Like I saw it, I didn't understand it, but I saw it.
Interesting. I'm really excited to go through the rest of his films. I kind of
Yeah,
like this dynamic where it's like, you know, like one person like you definitely know more about Cronenberg than me.
hmm
So like maybe in
maybe.
future episodes, like it could
Yeah,
be
Bunau,
yeah, but no, yeah, or something like that where it's like
because I've
one of
only seen like two of his movies,
yeah. See,
that
like
counting the one that's your
I
background.
don't know, yeah, yes. But anyways, oh, maybe we should go through some of the performances. I know we kind of touched on James Woods, but uh, 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 it's Deborah Henry, right? No,
Debbie Harry.
yeah, Debbie Harry. I don't know why I said Henry. Debbie Harry from Blondie, uh,
Yeah,
is she has a pretty good performance in this as well.
she is. I was gonna mention that too. I think it shows in my notes I wrote anima sexuality. Again, if it sounds like we're talking about sex a lot, it's just the movie.
It is.
I mean it's also probably just us, but because we're young. Um but because like that part where she was like trying to where they were first going to sleep together and she would like put the cigarette on in her and like
Yeah,
James Woods was like super uncomfortable and he was like, no, don't do that. And she was like, no, I want to. I think it's cool how like the power dynamic between the men and women were altering and like how it was shifting between her persuading him rather than the other way around. And it
yeah,
was just showing a sort of like really animalistic side of sex.
yeah.
Like because it was showing like sub the subservient and the dominant.
You know what's interesting about that particular moment too is like there's actually two things that I kind of noticed when I rewatched it recently. Is that that's almost kind of the tipping point for James Woods' character in terms
It
of
is.
where he's like he goes from being just interested or kind of blasé. He's almost looking at everything Videodrome and the sex
Hmm.
stuff. It's almost like a business at that point. You know what I'm saying?
It is a business, yeah.
And that point is kind of like the tipping point to sexual deviancy, if you want to call it that, in a way, for that character. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like the start of the trip down the rabbit hole, because
Hmm.
everything's kind of innocent before that. You know, he's poking her with the thing and shit, and they're
Yeah.
having sex while Videodrome plays, which is interesting, I guess.
Mhm.
But that's kind of the tipping point. And then I
Oh,
know.
that
Go ahead, my bad.
you go ahead.
Well, I was to say, I noticed in rewatching that the very next scene when he sees the cigarette from the other character, the
Yeah.
the older
Yeah, yeah,
character, he sees the cigarette and he's like visually disturbed by it.
yeah.
I didn't notice that upon first watch.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of subtle things like that.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Let me. Oh, um, this goes back to the point I was saying earlier about subservience and dominance, where I think it's cool how they reverse that, where Nikki, Debbie Harry's character, she was or she was the one that suggested you put it on, right? Because she was like, I want to watch this because
Yeah,
it'll turn
yeah,
me
she's the
on.
one who suggests putting on Videodrome. Yeah,
Yeah. And then James, what's his name again? Max is like, oh, I think we should turn this off. And
yeah,
she's like, no, I like it on. So again, it's like showing that weird animalistic side to sex.
yeah. That's true. That's true. And it's almost like you said earlier, kind of about the power dynamic. That is interesting. That it's like
Yeah.
that this film shows a power dynamic of almost the woman seducing, uh, like I, I guess maybe it's kind of like it's I don't know. It's interesting that
It's
that
flipped from a normal
yeah,
Hollywood perspective.
exactly. Like it's flipped from the normal cliche where it's like that. Like
Yeah.
the woman holds all the power over the man in this movie in a lot of ways, like over his psyche and like uh you know his
Well,
hallucinations.
she's a masochist, and then they
Yeah,
like kind of um convince each other into a consensual sadomasochistic relationship,
yeah, right, exactly.
which is tight.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it definitely goes pretty dark, but
If you're
but it
if
is
you're into that, it's tight.
it's like super interesting subject matter. And like,
It
I
is.
mean, what other movie before this had tackled that like that? I mean, I think very few films since then have
I Yeah, I don't think many have either.
in general. Yeah,
I'd say maybe Crash comes the closest.
yeah, another Cronenberg film. Like, not many people are willing to like
Yep.
really put. I mean, it's disturbing and it's not for everybody, and it's material that is it's subject matter that's like it's not for everybody, and it's gonna turn some viewers off. Like, I
Yeah.
know people who, if they were to
Hmm.
watch this, they would be too disturbed to enjoy it. But it's also like like in a way, it's subject matter that like nobody's really willing to talk about in a way, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? Maybe that's a good segue into like the actual themes of this film and like
Hmm.
what maybe Cronenberg is trying to say to us. I don't know.
I have a lot of the notes on that. I think, like I said earlier, even though this works as just a fun, like pulpy time, I think it's a very cerebral experience too, and you could watch it just. There's a lot of thought candy.
Oh yeah.
Um, so like we were talking earlier about the trips, and again, I like your use of wording there because it's really um because like what drugs do is they tear down the senses, right? So it's like it's treating media as a drug,
Yeah,
and it's
right.
like tearing down the senses between reality and what's fiction, and that's why the line's getting blurred. And so oftentimes our fiction feels more personal than reality, or it feels more real than reality because it's closer to our internal reality because it's more personal to us.
That's good points. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I like the like going in that direction. I like the themes of like the organic and
Yeah.
the electronic or
Like man merging with machine.
yeah, basically like
Yeah.
the TV breathing and the fucking
Yeah.
tape breathing and the gun at the very end coming out of the TV.
Yeah, so
screen,
cool.
one of the best fucking shots ever. Like so fucking cool. I don't know how you can look at that and not just
Yeah.
think that's the coolest shit ever. Like I love those themes, and like in rewatching, I'd say like those were the themes that's the theme that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
That like was like, oh wow, this is what Cronenberg's really trying to say with this,
Yeah.
you know?
Totally.
And even like the Brian Oblivion character, how he
Yeah. I wanted to talk more about him. He's a
yes,
great
I do
character.
too. Yeah, maybe we could go to that right now. So, Brian Oblivion, he's a very interesting character.
He is. I think he's might be the most interesting character in the movie.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And he's
Um.
go ahead, my bad.
Oh no, you go ahead. I
Well,
wasn't gonna. I was just gonna talk word vomit.
okay, well, I was just gonna say he's a supporting character, but he's like a really interesting character once you dive into him. He's not the most
He represents
apparent.
the whole movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Exactly. Like he's not the most apparently interesting character, or not interesting is not the right word. He's not the most inherent, like apparently important character.
Prominent.
Yeah, there you go. Prominent. Thank you. But he
Yeah.
is a very important character to the actual film.
Yeah. Both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, true, true.
Because he's kind of like the antithesis of James Woods or of Max. I need to get used to saying that character. I'm bad with character names. I have it all written down right here. Do you know where the name comes from, by the way? This was funny. It's just a laugh and shows how big of a dork Cronenberg is.
Max Wren or the Brian Oblivion?
Max Wren.
No, I don't.
Ren Max is a motorcycle that David Cronenberg thinks is really cool, so he just flipped the name. Because Cronenberg's a nerd for cars.
Yeah, that is pretty nerdy, but that's pretty cool.
That movie Fast Company, this is way off topic, but that movie Fast Company, it sucks and I don't recommend it. Like that's the only Cronenberg film I won't recommend. But that said, like I really sincerely believe that was a passion project for him because of how much he loves cars.
I can definitely see that he loves cars and motor vehicles because, like, I'm thinking even back to like the beginning of Rabid, with like
Yeah,
the motorcycle fucking sequence and shit.
he did a student short film about like racing.
Did he really?
Yeah,
What's it called? Do you know?
I'll look it up. It's not very good. At least it's not from what I remember.
I remember you saying that you went through a lot of Cronenberg's like
I
student.
went through all of his shorts.
films.
Let me find it. The Italian Machine.
The Italian Machine. Okay,
It
interesting.
doesn't even have a poster. That's how lame it is.
Must have been one of his like really, really student projects.
He made it after Shivers, actually, but before Rabid.
That's super random. Because Shivers was
Yeah.
like his second film. Didn't he
That
have-
was like his breakthrough film.
that was like his first like real film, right? But then
Yeah, he did like weird experimental shit, like Crimes of the
Stereo?
Future. What's it called?
Oh yeah, Crimes of the Future and
Or
Stereo.
Stereo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stereo and Crimes of the Future.
Are those feature length films?
They're like 60 minutes each, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
They're tight. I recommend it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I will
I mean,
watch those eventually.
they're not as fun as this, but I mean, if you know what you're getting into, I mean, they're just weird avant-garde. But I mean, you see like a lot of seeds for the Cronenberg being planted.
Okay.
That's another reason why I love Cronenberg is I don't know if I agree with this, but a lot of people say like some of the best artists just keep telling the same story. I don't know if that's always true, but in the case of Cronenberg, it certainly is true because like his themes are like in all his movies.
Yeah, that's
All the
true.
Freud, all the sex, all the technology, all the body stuff.
The only movie that I can think of his that doesn't particularly have any like well, the only
Fast
movie that
Company.
I've seen. Well, okay, yeah, there you go. But the only movie that I've seen by him that I can't really think has maybe a ton of the themes is The Dead Zone. But that's also not his script.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not his story, you know.
I don't even think did he write that? I don't remember.
I don't know, to be honest.
It doesn't that I like that movie, like it's fun, but it doesn't feel like a Cronenberg film.
No, not really. You're right. You're totally right.
It's a good movie though. I recommend it, but
yeah, it's super fun. That might have been the first Cronenberg film I saw.
the first time I saw it, I was disappointed in it, but
yeah,
over time I've grown to like it more.
Yeah,
it's much more of a Stephen King film than a Cronenberg film.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like if you look at it too, just like if you go into it not expecting a typical Cronenberg film, I think it's really fun. I think maybe that's why I liked it so much at first, is because I didn't even know what to expect out of a Cronenberg movie at that point.
Yeah.
'Cause I had never seen any, so I was like, oh, this is really fun. Stephen
Yeah.
King. I love Stephen King.
Yeah.
I think that was the first. It was either that or The Brood, one of the two. And I gotta go
Brood's a
back.
great one to start with.
Yeah, I remember.
If anyone listening wants to get into him, I think The Brood's probably the best place to start, honestly.
I think that's a pretty good like place because it's honestly
That or this.
Yeah, I think shit. You could go full Videodrome right off the bat, and it could be.
Well, there's a scene The Brood's pretty fucked up too by the end.
Yeah,
the part where she like bites her placenta.
Yeah. It's pretty disturbing.
Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's an old movie.
It's all right. I mean, I don't think a ton of people are gonna be bad about that. Who cares? And it's
If
not anything about the story.
Yeah.
But yes, those are all good places to start. I also think Scanners is kind of a good place to start with.
I agree.
Like it's kind of I mean, it's like
it's more light, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's more light than like Videodrome. It's almost like Videodrome light in a way, in some way.
Yeah, kind of. It's not. Yeah, it's like Videodrome, but it's not as heavy, I guess.
Yeah, in a way.
Thematics.
I mean, the story is definitely different, but it's like it's it's in the same vein, in my opinion.
But I mean, it's all about like body, like evolution of like the body, like I mean, I guess more so the mind, but
yeah.
It's pretty much an X-Men movie.
It kind of fucking is, right?
It's the best X-Men movie.
Yeah, it's pretty much a X-Men movie. You're right. With fucking Magneto is Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the Magneto character. And then what's his name? The professor guy.
Yeah, Xavier.
Yeah, but what's the actor who plays?
Oh, I don't remember. I'll look it up.
In Scanners. He's pretty much like a TV character actor from what I know. I forget his name. It's gonna
Stephen Lack?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Well, we could do another episode on Scanners.
Okay, I'm terrible with actors.
No, yeah, me too. I can't remember his name, and it's something like I want to say it's something William something, but I could be totally wrong.
Okay.
But anyway.
I kind of want to talk more about Brian Oblivion now.
Yeah. Keep going.
So, like I was saying, I don't remember if I think I started going off on a tangent, so sorry. But basically, he's like the antithesis of Max because he's accepting of it. He recognizes the chord between reality and fiction, and as a result of that, he's more accepting of that, and because of that, he's more accepting of his death because he sees that the two are merged. Because he sees that he sees that like what you enjoy is already a manifestation of your own mind, and because of that, what his own reality is just like a manifestation of his id. So he just is showcasing that part of himself, and because of that, that's why he's accepting of his death.
Yeah.
And that's what James Woods' character Max is afraid of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Until the end, and then until by the end he's completely desensitized.
Yeah.
And I would argue that he's not really that. I don't know. Do you think Brian Oblivion's desensitized or not? Because I think he seems pretty
desensitized,
like in the same way that Max is by the end of the film. Because I don't think so.
I don't know, because I mean, we don't really see the end of Brian Oblivion. I mean, we see that little video, but isn't that kind of a hallucination of Max, where Brian Oblivion gets killed?
That's true.
And we don't really see the end of Brian Oblivion. We only see like his recordings, and I think the film leads.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like he was the one merging technology and humanity.
That's true. Yeah.
Because his whole life was through technology.
Yeah. So
or at least his projected life was through technology.
Yeah. I would say yes. Then, like, I would say he does.
Yeah.
He does meet that same fate that Max does by the end of the film, where he's like, fucking long live the new flesh and shit.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I was listening to the commentary with James Woods. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, not really. I was just gonna say like that's. I think the film at least leads us to believe that.
Yeah. Okay. But I was listening to the commentary with James Woods, and he was like, he brought like this whole new element thing, or this new commentary that I never thought of. Like the film's like a commentary on religion. Like Long Live the New Flesh is like, I don't think James Woods has a very positive view of religion, just judging by what his comments. But basically he was like, God is media, and Long Live the New Flesh is just like an an evangelical kind of thing.
That makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't really think of it that way, but
I didn't think of it either till he said it, and I haven't really had time to think about it. So
well, you even
that's
see
why.
like, all those people who basically are just going to what is kind of a church to watch TV. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like it's almost like that in a way. Like that kind of makes sense. It's almost like TV is the new religion, or what have you, or technology, whatever you want to say. TV,
Yeah,
really.
by the end of it, he dies for his gospel. He dies
Yeah,
spreading the word of the television.
yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of
So
sense. That's
he's like, it's like Joan of Arc.
yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Should
Because
we
he's hearing,
say
yeah, actually it's more, I was joking, but it is kind of like Joan of Arc because he
what?
starts like hallucinating and hearing things, and if you're interpreting television as a form of God, then that's totally.
Yeah, you could totally like make a comparison. Um,
I never heard that till today because I was just listening to that commentary track, but
yeah, like I'm surprised that neither of us really thought of that because that makes perfect sense in a way.
yeah,
Like I'm starting to kind of connect the dots thinking about it now.
yeah, it
Huh.
does make sense. It's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay. So should we segue that into like the special effects? Because that is
Yeah,
a big part of this fucking movie.
absolutely.
Um,
What's it? Rick Baker,
yeah, Rick Baker,
the king.
obviously he is a legend.
He didn't he? What other? He did American Werewolf in London, right?
Yeah, that's like okay, that you know
That's
what?
his most
We'll
famous one, right?
probably bring up some Rick Baker credits, but that is one of Rick Baker's most
That's the one he won the Oscar for.
yeah, I believe he won the first Oscar for effects for that.
As he should. That's still one of the most incredible
Yeah,
sequences ever.
exactly, exactly. Let me
I
let
think
me look
it,
up some of his other credits though, so we don't do him any disservice.
for sure.
Let's see. Okay. Well, he worked on The Exorcist as a special effects assistant.
Interesting.
He worked on a lot of movies in the 70s, King Kong, the 70s version.
The one with Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, I think so.
Hell yeah.
He was a second unit makeup artist on Star Wars. He
That's
worked
weird.
on Brian De Palma's The Fury, The Howling. Oh, he was a consultant.
Howling. Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. Videodrome, American Werewolf in London. These are just some of his credits. Captain EO,
Classic.
Harry and the Hendersons,
Another classic.
another classic, Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2 unironically fucking kicks ass. I had no idea he worked on that. That
Wolf
movie rocks.
with Jack Nicholson. The Nutty Professor. That is
Interesting.
legendary credit right there. Batman Forever, another legendary credit.
Absolutely.
So a ton of amazing films under Rick
Absolutely.
Baker's credit.
Well, the
Yeah,
special effects in most of those films are great though. So
exactly, exactly. Like he's a true like legend of that
yes.
field. Um, the special effects in this movie are so damn fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin because there's so much cool shit. Like, there's so many sequences that have their own intricacies. Like, you
Mhm.
can talk about the fucking stomach that opens up and you fucking Max Ren reaches in and puts a gun there and how cool that
Yeah.
sequence is. Or even
Another
go ahead.
I like how there's this toy gun in my house. I'm just waving it around. Sorry. I'm just fidgeting with it. But you could draw another Freudian parallel to that by saying it's a vagina because
Yeah,
it's like a birth.
there you
Because
go.
it birth and through birth comes death, and from death comes the gun.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And it
So
also fucking takes the dude's arm off. So like
yep.
that's another cool ass sequence.
Yeah.
And you could also talk about the sequence with the breathing television and how inventive that
Oh
is.
yes.
That's like when I saw that, that was literally one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like I'll
Yeah,
never
it's
forget that image. Just if I never saw this movie again, if there was one thing I held on to, it would be that image
it's amazing.
of the breathing veins. That's what really gets me is like when it breathes and it's showing like the top of the television and you just see like the little veins. You're like, holy fuck, somebody put so much detail into this. And even speaking about that in the documentary, they were saying that they had to build it in a particular way to where they had to construct it in a particular order, and then like they had to do the veins. Like if they messed one vein up, they'd have to rebuild the entire television because of what it meant to the rest of the structure. I'm very much
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but like they had to make like 5 televisions before they got it right.
That's crazy.
What I heard.
Yeah, I love shit like that. Like just putting that much craft into what you're doing.
Oh yeah, and
It's
I mean,
amazing.
like, very few movies in the history of film can say like they have had this much special effects wizardry in one.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
this has
And
enough.
it fits thematically too.
Exactly. Like, this has enough special effects wizardry for like 10 films. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, it's
Yeah, and it's all thematically appropriate because it's all practical. So again, it's like the organic melding with the machine.
yeah, totally. Yeah. I think like I am genuinely thoroughly impressed I'm more impressed every time I watch this movie at the film.
Absolutely.
It's it's just,
Especially for the year it came out. When it came out, 86.
I think, 83.
Oh,
85.
I was way off. Okay, I was 3 years
I
off.
think 86 was The Fly. That might be what you think. What you're
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, for fucking 1983, like, I think it's just impressive. Like, this would be impressive today. Like,
Absolutely.
it's so good. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just
Yeah,
so, it's like breathtaking. Like, every time you see these things, you're like, holy shit. You know what? The only film that I could think of that even comes close that I've seen is The Thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's the only film I can think of that holds the same, just,
absolutely.
not just, I'm not just talking like, obviously there's other films like, the American Werewolf in London sequences are obviously like amazing and shit, but it's like to just pack so much into, yeah, the
So,
Blob, the 1988 Blob, of course, to just pack so much into one film though, like I can think of very few films that have done
I agree. No, I totally agree. I'm trying to think of some. That's why I'm kind of quiet.
that.
But no, I can't think of very many either. It's
Yeah, it's it's great, and like, truly, what it's just amazing that just a few guys did it all. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, it's basically just Rick Baker and a few young, early 20-year-old guys, and I think Rick Baker's wife even worked on it with him and stuff. And
yeah.
super interesting. If like,
The imagination you need to have for that shit too is
oh
insane.
yeah, like, yeah, even Rick Baker was saying like, starting out just from the script, like, how the fuck do I make a breathing television? Like,
Yeah,
just to sit down and think like, what does that even look like? You know,
yeah.
what does that even look like? It's pretty fucking cool.
It's incredible. Yeah. Well, I was gonna. I wanted to save this for the Kenneth Anger episode, but the Kenneth Anger. Do you know a lot about Kenneth Anger?
No.
Like personally? All right. He studied with Aleister Crowley,
Oh yeah,
so he like, and he considers cinema a form of alchemy,
interesting.
and I kind of agree with him. The only thing I disagree with him on is he thinks cinema is inherently a force of evil. I don't agree with that. I think cinema could be both, but he's literally a Satanist. That's why he says that, so it makes sense. But um still alive too. I'm always surprised. I'm yeah, that has
Interesting.
nothing to do with anything. It's just weird. He's like 90 something. But
Yeah, I did not know he was still alive. That's
yeah,
interesting.
but I do genuinely think cinema and media in general is like a form of real life magic because it's a way that you influence people's minds and you can create a collective consciousness by adding to that consciousness.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, and I think like, yeah, this movie totally um, touches on that, like the influence that TV and media has over us and
Mm-hmm.
minds.
It exposes the illusion of perception. I
Yep.
wrote that in my notes.
Yeah, it's a great way
It's
to
a
put
great
it.
sentence.
Is there any other things? Is there any other areas of this film that we need to touch on that we haven't really thought about yet? Like,
Um, Let me look through my notes.
yeah,
Oh, I wrote "You are what you eat," so you're the media that you consume.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's true. That's definitely a theme in this. Max Ren essentially becomes.
So the reasoning for liking something is just as important as. Sorry,
No, no, go ahead.
yeah, my internet's getting wacky.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Am I good now?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay. Um, what was I saying?
You are what you eat.
Okay. Yeah, so like how like media violence begets real life violence, and as a result of that, um, the reasoning for what you like is just as important as what you like. Because if you like something for the wrong reasons, um, then it could influence you in negative ways. Like if you like
Yeah.
Videodrome just for the sake of cool because it's badass and violent, um, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But I mean, that could lead you to like the fate of Max's character.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally, totally. I see where you're going. Like,
Yeah,
that, and that kind of goes to what Nikki's character says about like overstimulation. Like, if you
yeah,
just want stimulation for the sake of being stimulated, like, it's gonna lead to, I mean, something. It's gonna lead to bad results. Like, you're gonna be
yeah,
overstimulated or whatever, what have you. And that's kind of what the whole Videodrome company, cult, organization thing, entity, you should say, is kind of going
totally.
for, is like that,
Mhm.
slip in is people's wants to be overstimulated. Speaking of which, another thing that I meant to say,
Yeah.
I wrote notes like you. I should have been more prepared. But the themes of this movie, like especially with like violence and on television, and how that or violence just in any type of media and how that affects us, is that's a totally relevant topic
Mhm.
today. Like, you still hear that shit
Mhm.
talked about today, which is super interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of, it's almost like kind of predicted the future in a way, and like how,
It is.
yeah,
Cronenberg's a prophet.
yeah, like he totally kind of saw where this was going in a way,
Yeah.
and it just feels very relevant. Like, you could make this movie updated to these times and it would totally work.
That's
Like,
what he did with Existence, apparently, I'm
oh,
told.
really? Yeah. See, like, I gotta check that out. But like,
I
you
do
could
too.
totally change this to internet, online.
Yeah.
It would
I
work
think that's what Existence is actually.
online. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like the late '90s, right? That movie.
99, yeah.
Yeah. So it probably, maybe it's online.
Yeah. I need to watch that. I was gonna order the DVD. I wanted to watch it to prep for this, but I didn't have the time or the money. So
You know if it's on Blu-ray?
I don't think it is.
No. Man.
At
I
least not in America.
Oh yeah, probably in like Canada.
Yeah.
But
Or well, Canada Blu-rays are region A still, right?
oh yeah, that's true. Huh? I'm stupid. I don't know. I just said Canada because he's Canadian. So I don't know.
Yeah. If it's on Blu-ray in Canada, then you could order it and it would play just
Yeah,
fine.
that's true. That's true, huh?
We were talking about this before the show. Everything should be region free.
I feel.
Region codes are bullshit.
I'm sure that there's somebody out there who is very much knowledgeable of like the process behind making Blu-rays, who would hear this and like scream at us because we're just like idiots and don't inherently understand something that has to do with coding or whatever. But yes, in a perfect
Record players could play anything, so why the fuck can't movies?
again, somebody's probably screaming at computer screens watching this, turning us off currently because we're
Good. I don't want them.
but in a perfect world, everything should be region free. At the same time, we
Absolutely.
should probably save up for a region free Blu-ray. I know they're pretty
I
fucking
don't.
expensive,
Yeah.
but I
I
mean, you
did.
can
I.
just play it on your PlayStation, like you said, or your Xbox if you have one of those
That's all I have is the PlayStation, so I don't think I'm out of luck.
things. I think, but like, your PlayStation plays all regions, right?
Nope.
No, I thought.
No, it's region. It's region A only.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying, is that you were watching some
No,
Blu-rays on your PlayStation.
I for those listening, I bought Dawn of the Dead, like the DVD of it, and the reason I bought the DVD is because the collector's edition is region B only, and
Oh, I see.
no,
Okay,
the
that makes
PlayStation
more
only
sense.
plays region A, so I bought the DVD just because I couldn't. One, I couldn't afford it, and then two, it just wouldn't play. So I didn't want to spend $130 on something I couldn't watch.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought somehow your PlayStation was region free. That's pretty stupid looking back on it.
No,
But
that's no, you're
but
good.
we should save up for region
Absolutely,
free Blu-rays eventually.
because then we can get all the good era shit.
Yeah, because I'm always confused on what to buy era wise. What is region A and region B? Because I don't
Yeah,
because I want to get into aerial
because
video.
Arrow is primarily a British company, right?
Yeah, I know that a lot of their American titles are region A though, from what I've heard. But I'm just scared. Like, I just need confirmation that it that it is
Yeah.
before I drop
Mhm.
20 something bucks.
For sure.
That's why I like Criterion, because it's just, it's good.
Europeans probably hate Criterion for the same reason.
I'm sure, exactly. Well, is there any other points we need to make about this?
To go back to the point I was saying earlier, we're all pretty much inherently consumers because we're just bred to be consumers. But like they say in the movie, the reason Videodrome's dangerous is because it has a philosophy. And I think it's important to create that philosophy and to define what that philosophy is in order for your consumption to not be blind to make you brain dead,
Oh yeah,
essentially.
because even Dr. Oblivion's daughter, I don't know the character's name, but she says,
I don't remember. Yeah.
is it her that says they have something you don't, a philosophy? Or is that
I
something?
think it's what the old woman says.
You're right. You're totally right. She says
I
it.
forget her name.
I forget her name too, but you're totally right. She's the one who says it when she says
Yeah.
she's explaining how dangerous they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And again, I think it's really well written. I think you could kind of tell that character kind of has another life behind like the dinner parties that you're seeing her attend.
Oh yeah, true.
So you could totally see like, I don't know, her more devious life, I guess.
Yeah, I would say like all the characters have like a lot of the characters have really are just really well written, like you said. Like they just all have a lot of deep history that you can just tell by them being on screen. Like even Max's assistant, I don't know her name either.
Yeah.
Like
I don't remember
you
his
can
name.
kind of tell the dynamic between her and Max. Like she's obviously like a little bit infatuated with him in some way, shape, or form, or like loyal to him in some way, and it seems like he doesn't really see it or give a fuck. But I don't know why that character kind of like stuck with me on both times I watched this movie. Like, because she kind of just fades kind of in and out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like she's gonna be more important to the movie, and then she's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of like spoilers, or I mean,
we could talk spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. But like, they're like helping Max out of the conference room after he like kills his fucking partners and shit.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he doesn't really have any big moments in the movie.
Yeah.
Or well, she also gives him like the VHS tape of Brian Oblivion, or whatever.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess she's kind of important.
Not the most developed.
Yeah, not the most developed, but like you could still get a sense of that. So I don't know. That kind of just goes to Cronenberg.
Well, yeah, everyone feels like they have history.
Yeah, everyone feels like they have history. That's a good way of putting it. Like, yeah, but like, comes with well-written characters and stuff. Yeah, so David Cronenberg's Videodrome, great film. Highly recommend it. Would you highly recommend it, Ethan?
Sorry, your thing's cutting out.
Oh, my bad. I said
it's probably my internet.
Oh, that's cool. I said Videodrome, highly recommend it. Would you highly recommend it, Ethan?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of my favorite movies.
Is this like Die on an Island, like stuck on an island type shit?
Probably.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I think I said this at the beginning. I think the craziest part about this movie is how much I love it, and the fact that how much I love it, and that it's not even my favorite Cronenberg.
Yeah, that is crazy. What is your favorite?
Just Dead Ringers.
Dead Ringers. That's right. You always tell me that. What's your
Crash, and then this or Naked Lunch. I don't know.
Where does The Fly rank?
I don't like The Fly as much, but I love The Fly still.
The Fly is really fun.
The Fly. I think The Fly. It's not. Again, I hate using this word because it's pretentious, but I mean, I don't think it's quite as cerebral. Okay. I mean, that's not true. It is. It's about like accepting your death. I just spit on the screen. It's about like accepting your death and learning to live with disease. So I guess it is. I don't know. I get more out of Videodrome personally. So, but I mean, it still ranks up there. The Fly,
or is The Fly above or below Scanners off the top of your head?
It's above Scanners.
Above Scanners, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I love The Fly. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's still one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, super fun. What's your least favorite non-Fast Company Cronenberg film off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head?
Like the least favorite one outside of that they've seen. Or some of his student films, like legit. Post-Shivers.
I like Shivers. I don't know where it ranks. I used to have like a ranked Cronenberg list, but I think I deleted it. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
Oh, Dead Zone's probably my least favorite, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I still like it though.
have you seen like some of his newer films? Like is it
Maps to the Stars, Cosmopolis. Yep,
are those like
those are great.
yeah? Okay.
I
'Cause I'm
like them a lot.
interested in those a lot. Those might be some of the next films I watch by him.
The lamos will tell you they're not good, but that's because they don't know anything. They're great.
Who listens to the lamos?
Exactly. Speaking of which, he has a son who's making movies,
Yes, I know.
which I haven't seen any of his shit though.
I think does he just have the one Possessor?
He has a movie called Antiviral too.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
Sounds very much in the vein of his father.
absolutely.
I've been very interested in seeing Possessor.
Yeah, me too.
I
We
just
should
haven't
talk
been
about that
able
one day.
to, rent it because I know it's a lot of money, but maybe
Yeah.
buy it and do a review of that. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
We could
yeah.
do-
It'd be cool if we could talk about like multiple movies in an episode.
Oh yeah, totally.
I don't know. We're still figuring this out.
Yeah, we're totally just still figuring this out. Thank you, whoever's watching, the 4 or 5 people who maybe clicked on this, and the one person who stayed till the end. Hopefully more, but we'll see. But thank you for watching this. We're gonna definitely try to refine this, but I think we honest to God, I think this was a pretty good first episode for
Hope
coming
so.
in as ill prepared as we were, but I think that's part of the fun. Is like we're just talking about a movie we love, and I
don't want it to be like us dropping knowledge on y'all because it's annoying.
I know that
I don't want to be a film professor.
Yeah, exactly. I know my favorite film podcasts are just any podcast is people shit talking and having it's like I hope that our love for the movie comes through first and foremost.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, is there anything else to add before we call it an episode?
I'm just looking through my notes. No, I think we talked about everything.
All right.
Or at least we touched on everything to an extent. You want to announce the next movie?
Sure. I'm thinking Winter Light by Bergman.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that for some reason.
Yeah, it might be like my favorite film ever. I can't tell. It's definitely my top 4.
I'm
And
looking
I think
forward
there's
to
a
it.
lot to unpack. So yeah, I think we'll try to record that next week. Yeah.
Same time? Yeah.
Yeah. Same time.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool.
All right, sweet. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Hopefully check back next week and there will be a second episode.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
On with the new flesh.